Hey guys, HORRORman back with a movie review. What's going on, guys? I'm back so soon with another video. Gonna be doing a movie review. Shouldn't be too long. Nothing like my video yesterday. It was my first video back, so it went on a little bit longer than I expected, but I want to thank everybody who watched, who left comments. I really appreciate it. It's great to be back, and it's great to be making videos again. So I wasn't planning on doing another video so soon, but I watched the movie today and figured, why not? Let me do a review. It's a movie that I haven't watched in a long time. Decided to revisit it today. Used to rent it quite often growing up from the local video store. It's a movie that I always enjoyed, so decided to give it a rewatch. And that movie is The Vagrant. So it's not your typical horror film. Definitely more of a dark comedy. Think of The Burbs. You know, it's more comedy than it is real horror. It's not really going to scare you. Although the makeup for The Vagrant, played by Marshall Bell, kind of creepy, definitely creepy. There's also some gory moments in here, some good kill scenes, if you will. So it does have that up on the Burbs. Burb, you don't really have gore or anything like that. And by any means, I am not bashing the Burbs because I absolutely love the Burbs, and I'm not saying The Vagrant is a better film than the Burbs, but just saying, The Vagrant does add that gore factor. So if you enjoy movies like the Burbs, then The Vagrant is definitely one worth checking out. Of course, you have the great Bill Paxton. He's great in this role. You have Michael Ironside playing in this as well. It's just a fun movie. Just definitely entertaining. It actually takes itself seriously. I think the movie itself, the movie makers kind of knew, it wasn't going to be like this huge horror film. They weren't trying to scare anybody. They weren't trying to creep anybody out. But it seems like they just had fun with it. It seems like everybody took their role seriously. Everybody put all they had into it, and that's great. Right here is a VHS copy. This is actually a screener VHS, still sealed, just something that I collect. But I did watch it on DVD. It's part of one of those Scream Factory all-night horror movie marathons or whatever, the 4-packs with 4 80s, 90s movies on there. So yeah, I did watch it on that. And I do know Scream Factory actually recently released this on Blu-ray, which is pretty cool. I'll probably get around to getting that at some point. But yeah, I thought it was great. After not seeing it in years, again, it's one of those movies that I did watch a lot growing up, and watching it today, as soon as it came on, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this part. I remember this part. I remember that. I started to remember a lot more than I thought that I would. What can I really say about it? It's basically Bill Paxton. Kind of lives a boring life, has a boring job. Has a girlfriend, decides to buy a house. He buys this house and he's fixing it up. It's kind of gross when he first gets there, and he notices some things are kind of off, as if maybe somebody's been in there. And come to find out, this vagrant, played by Marshall Bell, has actually been, who basically lives in the plot across the street from the house, is, a homeless vagrant, and he's been going in the house and using the sink and doing whatever else in there. So Bill Paxton's character moves in and really can't seem to get rid of the vagrant. He puts a whole new security system in his house, new locks on the doors, fence around, lights all around the house, and still just can't seem to get rid of the vagrant. It's definitely funny, like I said. There are actually some laugh out loud funny moments. There was, one part after the courtroom scene, without giving out spoilers, after the courtroom scene, I actually did laugh out loud. It was pretty funny. Any of you have seen it probably know what I'm talking about when they're coming out of the courtroom. But yeah, like I said, definitely some funny scenes, and love the makeup on the vagrant. He definitely looked creepy. The gore scenes are pretty good. Pretty cool scenes there. Again, nothing over the top, nothing that's gonna scare anybody. Again, I watched this as a kid, so there's really nothing too inappropriate. One dream sequence maybe in particular that's a little, inappropriate for kids, but whatever. I was always mature for my age, and I watched far worse than this growing up. Yeah, so basically, it's just kind of the mental and emotional downfall of Bill Paxton just trying to get rid of this vagrant from his house, and in the process, all these murders start taking place. You know, and an old lady in the neighborhood dies, and then somebody else dies, and Bill Paxton is trying to figure out if it's the vagrant that's doing it, who he's pretty much convinced is. However, there's the mystery element of maybe Bill Paxton is doing it himself because he tends to sleepwalk at night. So then he starts to go a little crazy, trying to figure out, you know, is it really him? Is the vagrant real? Is nobody else seeing him? Is he the only one seeing this vagrant? And you know, it kind of it goes on that story for a little while. So don't want to give too much more away. I will say the climax is very good. The climax of the movie, it takes place in almost this tourist trap sort of this tourist attraction at basically a gas station pub type thing. It's pretty cool. I do like that scene a lot. You know, I think it was a good ending, a good setting, good atmosphere for the movie. Definitely a good climax there. Again, the acting is pretty good. Bill Paxton's great in it. Michael Ironside and Masha Bell is just fantastic as the vagrant. So, don't know how many of you have seen this movie. I know it really wasn't like a huge movie back in the early '90s when it came out. Again, it was coming out of the '80s. You know, it's in that period where '80s horror was definitely the best. And again, it had, you know, kind of following the footsteps of the Burbs and movies like that. If you have seen it, please comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm always curious to hear your opinions on movies as well. It's not one of those movies I'd recommend for anybody. But again, if you like dark comedy, if you know you're not going into the movie taking it too seriously, hoping to be scared or anything like that, I think you'll enjoy it. And that's what movies are for. They're for entertainment. And this one definitely entertained me. So again, if you've seen it, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think. I appreciate you watching, guys. Thanks.